And now, back to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
I'm Andrew Sabo.
No, and just you're Andrew Sabo.
I did mess that up. Let's do it again.
So we're here this week to talk about episode 438B, the Telltale Cat.
Oh man,
Did I say that correctly?
I think you did.
The Telltale Cat.
Chris doesn't have an easy time with it either at the end of the episode.
She's also so we're just gonna peel back the curtain now because So we discussed in the end of last episode that we didn't know if we'd be able to cover this episode because it doesn't exist anymore. Like on the club, it aired on the radio once. Whatever. I found it, guys.
Is truly magic.
If you are people who look at the show notes, you will have seen it linked last week in the show notes.
What a guy.
It's also linked this week. Look, focus. Come at me.
Up yours.
Like I went back and forth because I do feel a little weird about it. Also, it's not available. So
yeah,
this is how you get to hear it. Also,
yeah,
for whatever reason, the audio I did manage to find of it is definitely running at a faster bit rate than it should be. It might even be pitched up on top of that.
I think
it's weird because some of the voices sound normal-ish. Like Eugene,
kind
Harlow,
of. Yeah.
David sound pretty good. Mandy sounds younger. Connie, Whit, and Tom?
Unrecognizable.
It's wild. I did not realize it was Tom in the first scene that Tom is in.
No, I didn't either. No, I have it as a note.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild ride. But
I'm glad we can be on it. Thank you, kind strangers on the internet.
Yes. Thank you, internet strangers. We're happy to pay it forward. Yeah.
Good stewards, as the Lord would want.
Yeah.
Listen, if Focus wanted to make money off of this, they could put it on the club and sell it, okay?
Right.
We're not even selling it, so...
Yeah. Yep.
No moral qualms for me.
Yeah. And yeah, if I get an email from Phil, I'll leave it up. If I get one from Hoobler, I might take it down.
Yeah. If Hoobler comes out, then... I don't know. I would feel really bad about turning him away.
Yeah, if Kathy Buchanan comes after us, I will concede.
Yeah, I will give her whatever she wants.
Yeah.
I will bake her an apology pie.
Yeah. That being said, if any of you want this taken down, just come on our podcast and tell us in person.
Yes, exactly.
That offer even extends to you, Phil Lawler, who I know listens to this every week.
Every week.
The man's got nothing else to do except to hate stuff.
Yep.
So
this is what he listens to while he's working out because it like ups his testosterone and stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine he's like a What do you think Phil Lawler does for exercise?
Elliptical.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe recumbent bike. Maybe.
This is a bad habit of mine, but a habit nonetheless, which is occasionally if I just feel like being angry, I will go on the Adventures in Odyssey fan group on Facebook and just search out conversations that are going to get mildly controversial and then just see Phil in the comments just raving mad.
Does that, like, how often does that happen?
There are multiple threads a week in which you can find Phil being mad.
Why?
I found a him yelling about Lecrae thread
Really?
I think in the past week. There's
What does he have against? Like, that's a good reoccurring bit. What's Phil angry about? What's eating Phil?
what's eating Filbert Lawler?
Filbert.
It's a Gilbert Grape joke, but I
Yeah.
couldn't land it because they're
I was thinking. I imagine Phil Lawler as Dilbert in the tie situation.
I actually, there might be more similarities there. He did change his profile picture to be slightly less unhinged recently, which is a bit of a bummer, but
What was it before that it was so unhinged?
like black and white photo with him with like a curly afro cross-eyed with like his tongue sticking out.
That is unhinged. I had no. I
that's the
presumed
one-
it was like a goofy picture with his wife to
that's
a
the one-
professional photo.
That's the one I threatened to put on a t-shirt. Remember when we talked about that?
Oh yes. I mean, I don't remember ever seeing the image, but I do remember you threatening to blackmail Phil Lawler.
Yeah. It's now a graduation picture of him, I think. Either that or he's just like young and wearing a hat.
You know how young people be wearing hats.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I like this. This is good workshop. We're just spitballing here.
Yeah, what if we do a bonus episode and instead of reading fanfic, we just go back and forth and fill all our comments. I read what one person says, and then you read the commenter. Like you play Phil, I play the
Yeah.
The problem is
it's
the same thing every time.
No, yeah, no,
Which is just like, he's a man who can see everything in the world as a black and white, and he is always on
Even
the
his
side
pictures.
of white.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yes, nope, that was not necessarily a mistake.
No, it was intentional.
See aforementioned Lecrae thread.
Oh no.
No, I mean, like, he doesn't. All right. You know what? We're in this right now. So the thing is, I get mad, and then I send screenshots to friend of the show Michaela Moeller so that she can be mad with me.
I want to join this Facebook group.
Yeah, it's bad for your mental health.
That is, I mean, I'm on Facebook so rarely for that reason.
Right, like this is no good for anyone, and yet, like, sometimes can't look away. So we've got a three person thread here. So this is we're talking about Lecrae and his rap, and someone says in regards to it starts out with talking about Lecrae rapping from a Christian worldview, and he's a Christian who raps from a Christian worldview, and someone responds, "Is he? Does he? I've heard less and less of Christian worldview from him as time passes. He is grabbing very tightly to the world's perspective on critical race theory and the social justice movement." To which someone responds, the initial guy who made the comment about Lecrae responds, "No offense, but I don't think it's very fair to question his Christianity just because his racial politics might be different than yours."
Yeah.
Which is such a nice, level-headed response.
No, that is that is the absolute correct response.
Well, but it's the most generous response
exactly,
as well.
Exactly. That's what I meant by the absolute correct. Like, it's the one that's going to cause the least amount of problems and also still call out their own biases.
Yeah. To which, so once again, just because his racial don't question his Christianity just because his racial politics are different than yours. Phil Lawler responds, "Doesn't that depend on if his racial politics are evil or not? Evil is the problem here, not the package it comes wrapped up in."
Huh. Evil. Evil was his choice of words.
It really was.
When you want to talk about, like, just binary thinking, if you exist in a world where something is either purely good or purely evil, oh my gosh. I mean, he'll die soon.
the thing with everything Phil Lawler is he never explicitly comes out and says things that are like that are objectively horrible.
No.
For a man who's so black and white, he
Yeah.
really likes saying everything in shades of gray.
Exactly. Well, whenever he's being shady with people,
Like, oh,
yeah,
but,
no,
yeah.
if he's trying to throw some shade, it's gonna be gray. No, it's
Well, I
it's
mean,
yucky.
shade, gray by default.
Gray scale, if you will,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen any, white shade.
or black shadows.
Now that I mention it though, I have seen like yellowy shade, like when you have if you have like a pane of glass that's got
yes.
you
that's
kind of
nice.
get it's not. I guess it's not shade at that point, but it kind of is.
it's
shades-
reflected. It's refracted light.
right? Which is what is shade if not refracted light?
Exactly. Well, we haven't even gotten to the
Is the
intro.
opposite of shade a rainbow, or is the rainbow just shade?
I think rainbows are shade. That's just me. It's the
Hank Green says butt is legs.
Exactly.
Andrew says rainbow is shade.
It's the unreachable shade.
The unreachable shade.
Like you can journey for miles, but you will never get to that shade.
Wow, beautiful. Couldn't have said it better.
That's
myself.
why the leprechauns were so wealthy.
So the episode we're talking about today is the Telltale Cat, and we got it through questionable means, but it doesn't matter. It's an episode that has aired once ever.
Ever.
It first aired on March 11th, 2000. It last aired also on March 11th.
And I think I know why. Within the first sentence of the episode is Harlow Doyle saying, "Who knows what evils lurk in the hearts of middle school boys? I do, Harlow Doyle." To which
Yeah.
every red flag went off. My OK Google, my Google Dot started changing shapes.
Changing shapes.
Yeah, no, it went
That's
full
horrific.
transformer, and there was red and
wow.
blue lights going off. Yeah.
World Wide Web. They call this search engine backrub. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
I should have known better.
You really should have, Andrew. That's what you get for saying her name in my presence.
I'm so sorry. I guess some things are black and white. I cannot say Google.
You didn't say the keyword ahead of that?
I know.
Okay, good.
But you just did. Why do
So-
we do this show?
So,
Because of Harlow Doyle and this absolute ludicrousy.
yeah. So this episode it's written by Jim Ware, directed by Phil Lawler, which is, what we keep talking about. Jim Ware did not write Sunset Boulevard, nor seemingly did he listen to it.
Yeah, because it is the same.
So there's this thing. So during most of the unreleased episodes of Odyssey that were actually produced or that ever made it to air, but then haven't, made it to things since then, there's kind of two distinct eras. There's the Officer Harley,
Yeah.
where it's like we recorded this episode, we aired it, then Harley got canceled, and we pulled him from the air.
Yep.
That time that, Focus really leaned into cancel culture and was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we don't want
A goofy cop. That's the thing that we are terrified of.
we can't have children thinking that cops are goofy.
Yep. So there's that instance, and then there is also this era of the show that we've been talking about during our hot split episode Summer.
So hot.
The hottest. And this one is that much more hot because, you gotta look extra hard to find it.
Oh yeah, no, this is
It's not
scarcity
it's not
has
out
driven
there.
the price up.
Yeah, it's not out there in the open. Gotta go behind closed doors to find it.
This is a Champagne Room episode exclusively.
And yeah,
You don't know what Dylan did to get this. I don't either. He didn't tell
you
me.
Don't. That stays between me and myself. Maybe involve I don't know. So a lot of these episodes were pulled, and they always give like a bit of a reason. I never know how much to read into the reasons. So, like, the official reason why this one was dropped from distribution is because they claimed that they felt the scene where he threw Fluffy Face into Trickle Lake was too violent.
Yeah, because it was. I don't disagree with that take.
Interesting. My take was it's because it's not particularly good, and they recycled a plot from like 3 episodes prior.
That too. No, I mean, this is a like objectively bad episode of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
The content.
Like, it's bad in that like it's doing nothing, but like I think there are worse split episodes than this.
yeah, for sure. As far as traumatizing
look forward
kids
to
and
our
stuff.
look forward to our ranking coming at the end of split episode summer, which is going to become a little bit of split episode fall. In case you guys haven't already done the math, you know that that we're going to be
The
trading
climate
that
has changed, my
trading that
friend.
crop top for a crop flannel at some point here.
I would love me a good cropped flannel.
Can make it happen, Andrew.
I have a black and white flannel that I was thinking about getting rid of because it's too small.
Ah, new option.
So perfect option for a cropped flannel. Now, do you keep the sleeves long?
I do personally.
Okay.
I think like short torso, long sleeves is a look that works. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
you know, what I wouldn't do, I feel like you either have to go like completely remove the sleeves or leave the sleeves on. I don't think any sort of like shortening the sleeves works.
My first thought was like a baseball tee length where you just cut off the cuff.
But if you want to do that, just roll them up.
True. And then you get that look.
Right.
Which is
Good luck.
Good look. Certified good look.
If you do this, Andrew, can you post some thirst traps for the Chalk Squad on
Yeah.
your on your Instagram, and we'll
Yes.
link them?
Yes, certainly.
All right, great.
It's my senior year of Bible college. Now's my time.
Yeah, what are they gonna do?
I don't know at this point. I thought I would have gotten yelled at long before now.
But yeah, it's such a fine episode. Like it's got kind of nothing to it, but it's, if you didn't pick up on it, it's a reference to the Telltale Heart. Blah, blah, blah. But in this time, it's the Telltale Cat. Here's my thing. It should have been called the Telltale Meow.
True. That would have been more appropriate.
Like, I get that the Telltale Heart, it's not the it's not like the Telltale Thump or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what sound. But I think the Telltale Meow is funnier.
Well, and it runs into the issue with the lion tail and the Telltale Cat, where it's like,
It's wild that the lion tail was initially paired with the Telltale Cat.
exactly.
Like,
what? I mean,
they should have called them the Telltale Cat and the Telltale Cat.
Yeah. The Telltale Cat. Or the long tail cat and the Telltale Cat.
But like, it's just, yeah. So it's that weird thing where it's like it's kind of stealing from Sunset Boulevard, and also is,
David laughs maniacally and throws a cat in a shoebox into a lake.
At which point it's like immediately rescued.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, there's no real danger, but I mean, listening to it as somebody who had never heard the episode before, I was like,
Right.
What?
Well, yes. Yeah, I guess I should make it clear. I've also never heard this episode before, as evidenced by the fact that it was only aired once, and when it was aired that one time, I was not even 2.
Yeah, was I born?
No.
Nope. Not even a zygote.
So, yeah, it's a wild
a wild 10 minutes. And it's, but like, that being said, I do, like, one of my first thoughts was, I really like Harlow dictating to himself, because in these short episodes, we get, like, Aubrey doing it a lot, and Mandy does it sometimes. But, like, getting Harlow doing it is funny, and it's
and
like...
this is more of a Harlow case episode.
Exactly.
Because Sunset Boulevard all has the framing of Richard Maxwell as the fish is telling.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this one does... This one gets to be a little bit more Harlow-y.
Yeah, this feels like a Harlow adventure as opposed to, like, an adventure that involves Harlow and is
That being said, he's not super involved.
No.
Does he do... Like, he's the narrator.
Yeah.
But we don't get any, like, investigation from him, really.
No.
It's just him telling the story.
Yeah, basically. Which I don't mind.
So Mandy gets a cat. Mm-hmm. So this is the other thing. This, I assume, episode overlaps with the contents of Sunset Boulevard.
It's got to, right?
Because she gets a cat in that. Mm-hmm. And that's when she loses interest in Richard Maxwell. Mm-hmm. And so, like, here she is. And we're now following the story of her getting the cat.
Well, and also now we know why she's not paying attention to the fish, because the cat's causing all kinds of problems.
Right.
So.
And David's not liking this cat.
Yeah, which we already knew in the previous episode. Yeah. But David didn't like the cat.
It is ridiculous that this episode, so like we have Mandy and David. Mm-hmm. We also get all of the core cast.
Yeah.
Like,
Tom.
Will Ryan is there as both Harlow and Eugene. Mm-hmm. Tom is there or Walker Edmonston is there as Tom and Bart.
Yeah.
And then Connie, like Katie Lee and Paul Herlinger both show up as well.
Yep, everybody's there. Why?
I don't know.
It doesn't, I mean...
I hope they got... Maybe that's why they did this, because they didn't want to keep paying residuals to everyone.
To everybody.
This 10 minutes of
you
audio.
You went over budget and you threw a cat in a lake? Oh my gosh. For a half an episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mandy gets the cat. The cat causes problems with David and eats his mouse, which... feel like is kind of glossed over in this split episode, the fact that the cat did commit murder.
But I mean, like, the natural kind.
Yeah, no, the natural kind of murder. Well, and also, when it's later revealed that David has a snake, I'm like, how did that not happen sooner?
The snake doesn't roam free.
True. Oh, I don't know. I've seen people let snakes out.
Sure. I hope the snake doesn't roam free. Is that better, Andrew?
I hope so too. So David hates the cat and is devising a plan maniacally, I shall say. Like, this is the most maniacal I've ever seen a elementary/middle schooler portrayed in this show. Like, this is worse than Rodney Rathbone. He seems like a full unhinged criminal.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
So he goes to the store and allegedly gets catnip and an alleged shoebox.
Yes.
Which is a running bit throughout the episode.
Harlow's got to couch everything in case, David's lawyers come after him, that this is all alleged.
Saul Preacher Man? Shoebox. Yeah. So, as we mentioned, takes the cat, catches it with the catnip
as bait.
Amanda freaks out. Mandy freaks out. Comes out, and he sends her to the
quick side conversation. Mandy, probably short for Amanda. Often is, not always. Could be. Maybe not probably. Could be. It's an option.
I would love that. I'm a big fan of Amanda. I like that name.
It's got a lot of A's. It's got a whole man in it.
Got a whole man in it. That's my favorite name. 2 A's and a whole lot of man.
It has 3, Andrew.
3 A's is a lot. That's a lot of A's.
Yeah, but you said 2.
You make a strong point. Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're
What
good.
A,
No,
what
you're
a,
good.
What a great episode we're making here, guys.
So much good
Did
quality
we bring up the
content.
fact that this? No, we did not. This episode. So we talked about last episode with the lion tail that it only has like that it's rated really poorly on the wiki, like 49% with 11 votes. On the flip side, this episode has a 77% with 42 votes.
Why? What?
I don't know. It feels like somebody messed up.
Yeah. Like, how many did they... I mean, I wonder if these votes came through while there was a mistake and this is like Sunset Bowl of Water or something like that. Like, is there any way this could have been... Because how did 42 people listen to this episode?
I mean, look, if I found it, like, it can happen, but... And I guess, right, you would maybe be more compelled to go out and review an episode that, like, ooh, it's special that I got to listen to this.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, yeah, it still is just whack.
That is so whack.
Anyways, sorry, I did not mean to interrupt your summary.
No, certainly. Well, this is when the cat is picked up immediately out of the water by presumably by our audio recording, old woman, but it's actually Tom.
It's actually Tom.
His like voice is super pitched up and fast, and he just sounds like an old lady.
Yep.
And so then David gets back to the house. He's super content. He's like, "Oh, I just got back in time to watch my cartoons. This is so great." And then he starts hearing cat meowing everywhere, and it's like probably like a Hellcats type joke or whatever.
Yeah, like he's hearing it like on the TV. Then he goes to Wit's End and like is hearing it there.
Well, yeah, and Wit then asked him about like Wit and Bart both ask him off the cuff about like his sister's cat, and he just freaks out.
Right, Bart
of
this
all
child
people,
just
while
has
he's
like
buying
a casual conversation
batteries
with Bart.
with Bart.
Yeah, and like Wit like when Wit leaves, or like when David leaves the scene with Wit, there's a cat there, like
named Muffin.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I didn't know.
Right.
How does she keep getting in?
Yep. And then we go over to
the Electric Palace,
and Bart's got like electronic cat simulator.
Yeah, basically, it's like a super high tech cat collar that has like radio tracking, and then also apparently the equivalent of a duck call, but for cats.
Yeah.
So that's just called a cat call, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But a cat call is also what you do to women on the street if you suck.
Yes, exactly. This is definitely a hill I am willing to die on. I have never understood cat calling.
If you cat called, stop listening.
Please, I don't want your...
Bye.
I don't care about you. Jesus loves everyone, but I feel less obligated to love people that cat call. Even as a child, it just baffled me. Because it's not like it ever went well.
No, I think it's just a power thing.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. I mean, as fair as it can be. It's like if you tried to get really good at basketball, but only shot the ball backwards. Where it's like, at a certain point, you just gotta give up and accept that this is not the best way to do this.
Right. Take flirting lessons with Andrew Sabo. Maybe that should be your career path. Drop out of college. You start a Zoom class where you teach people how to flirt.
That's such a bad idea for me. What advice? The advice I'm going to give is going to be terrible self-help that's just going to make people probably make a lot more mistakes than they would otherwise.
All right. Then we can do a Zoom course where you tell people how to shoot a basketball forwards.
Now that sounds like a real moneymaker right there. I know at least 2 people that would be very interested in watching an amateur fail at shooting a basketball for an extended period of time.
So Right. So there's
Casual conversation with Bart.
Electronic Cat. Great. Big
Yes.
fan.
Yeah, he just wants batteries, and so then he goes over to the Timothy Center to return to the scene of the crime, as all terrible criminals do.
Although it was Trickle Lake that he threw the cat off of.
Yeah, but isn't Trickle Lake right by the Timothy Center?
I don't think that they're that close.
This is why we need the map. This is
I mean, they're both on the outskirts of town, but I
Yeah.
don't think they definitely don't border each other.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Based on my understanding of Trickle Lake now.
Like I feel like Tom's Farm is closer to like Forest Mountain.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Well, I thought Forest Mountain and Trickle Lake were like together.
Maybe it's in between them. I don't know.
This is actually what we do need Phil Lawler for. That's really the only opinion of his that I.
Can you make a map for us, Phil?
Yeah.
We know you're listening.
I'll put it nicely in the in the group. Somebody make a map.
Yeah, but yeah. So he goes to the Timothy Center. Do we get a clear reason why he's going to the Timothy Center?
Well, I think he wants to get the cat back because he's freaking out. He wants to make sure the cat's okay.
Really?
Well, he's completely unhinged at this point.
Yes.
He's entirely manic. He's freaking out.
I don't know that he ever has a moment where he thinks he can get the cat back. Does
That's
he?
fair. Well, okay.
Because it's then like a surprise when it's like, oh, that's my sister's cat.
Yeah.
It's not like he's looking for Fluffy Face. He's just racked with guilt.
So my assumption is for his reasoning to go to the Timothy Center is because the Timothy Center is close to Trickle Lake. Tom was there earlier. I don't know. It's not on his property, but
Yeah, and maybe you're right. I just didn't make that connection.
I don't know. That's why I need a map.
Yeah. Or just helpful listeners.
So David's freaking out and then just like has a nervous breakdown and yells, "I confess," and then passes out, which been there, man.
Really?
No. I've never yelled "I confess" before I pass out.
You ever throw a sibling something in the lake?
Not intentionally, no. I've definitely accidentally knocked a lot of things into the ocean in my life, though.
You might want to have that checked out.
Yeah. I think it's just a general lack of balance. Amen. I think I just overall lack balance. So they freak out because this child passed out in front of them. They call his dad, and so the next scene is Tom on the phone with
Steven
Strasberg.
Good job, Andrew. Nailed it on the first try.
Thank you. Well, I would have just gone with Mr. So,
Fair.
avoid this problem altogether. And then so David's feeling better, Dad's feeling slightly less concerned, I guess, and they hang up, and there's a cat lovers conference at the Timothy Center because of course there is. There's cats everywhere in Odyssey this weekend, including the lakes.
Right. And so this is the reason that like he's being overwhelmed by cats in like this moment.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, there are so many cat sounds, and it's because, like...
That's why he passes out.
Yes.
Okay.
He gets...
Okay.
Right. He's not hallucinating those.
Okay. That makes so much more sense. I thought, like, they were in a conference room or, like, barn type situation, and he just kind of heard them in the distance or something. But
No,
that makes a lot more sense if there's just hundreds of cats running around.
Yeah. And then, it is...
And then he goes back to... this is the other bonkers thing. So he finds Fluffy, super excited, brings her back to Mandy.
Someone comes up and is like, like at the cat conference is like, this cat isn't registered, and Tom's like, oh yeah, that's because I just found him in a shoebox in the lake today.
Yeah.
And then the person's like, wow, someone really must have wanted to get rid of that cat. And then he's like, it's my sister's cat.
Nobody questions him.
Yeah.
And then he takes it back to Mandy, and he doesn't tell her. And they even give him the internal monologue moment of like, maybe I should tell her. I don't know. I mean, we got the cat back, make everything right. And he's like, nah, I won't. And then Mandy turns it around and says, where's your, or he asks where his snake is. And Mandy's like, I don't know. They just kind of disappear.
Yep.
And that's where the episode ends.
Yeah, with a little bit of a Harlow outro.
We love a good. Oh yeah, crime never pays. It. What is it? What are the words he is? It's like.
Oh gosh, it
like leeches off his mother or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's
or makes its mommy pay for it or something like that.
But yeah, that's the episode, guys.
Oof, boy, it existed.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't think it's bad. It's actually really funny how strange it is, and like I'm glad that we got to listen to it.
Yes, yeah. I'm so glad that we got to listen to it, and I don't know if I quite like wrapped this up earlier, what I was trying to say, but like there's a lot of like they dropped a bunch of episodes around this time for like the reasons that they give of like, it's too violent in this episode or whatever. But I think
how many more of them can we get?
I think the bigger
dropped episode summer
there's not that many dropped episodes. But like I think part of the reason we get so many in this era is because we've got all this new writing staff. McCusker is executive producer at this, like that's a new position for him. Like they are very much trying to train up this next bout of writers.
Yeah.
And so they probably like let some episodes go to air that they wouldn't have normally. Like they would have caught earlier in the process, but they're trying to train these people.
Yeah. Gotta give them their reps.
Yeah, and then they were like after the fact, we're like, okay, like we don't actually need to like keep circulating this thing, and so they just like pulled it, and so they all have reasons, but like right, I think this episode, the thing of like, it was pulled for being too violent. I'm like, it was pulled because it's not a great episode. I think like. Is the thing.
Well, and like, it is kind of derivative of other episodes.
It's derivative of other episodes. It's also it's so heightened.
Yeah.
In a way that like Odyssey like isn't really, and like they do like they obviously explain a lot of the cat sounds and whatnot, but it does just seem kind of crazy. And then I don't feel like it resolves well.
No, not at all. No.
And
there really is no resolution, and like the Chris wrap up at the end is like, so this is what happens when you try to get away with sin.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
what, you get paranoid basically, which is true. I mean, can confer. At least my reaction to that sort of behavior is typically a lot of anger and resentment for myself. But no, it's such an anomaly. I like it. I think it's strange and weird, and I'm glad that by making this show, I get to listen to it.
Yeah. It's fun. Like and it's right. It's a fun oddity.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
That's why.
An
like,
adventure
that's why
in absurdity, if you will.
That's why we wanted to cover it. Why I was so excited to like find it. Buried under all the cobwebs and whatnot, and why like it's fun to talk about it. It's just like in the same way that like when we covered, like when we did Twilight Zone, we covered like the original episode with Harley and then like the remake years later, which I feel like had a similar like fun element to it of like, this is like not like, this is, it's like a draft episode of Odyssey
Exactly.
that somehow like made it out the
was
door.
that was
And like
not treated as a draft.
yeah.
But it functioned as one for the writers and for the concept and for everything that the show was doing at the time.
But yeah, and there are a whole lot of like the wiki chronicles this stuff pretty well. If you go to like their unreleased episodes page, not telling you to do this currently, Andrew,
No,
because that's going to be too distracting. But listeners, and I can link it in the description. But there are, in addition to the ones that were recorded and then dropped, there were also some episodes that like just some scripts that we know about from this time that never happened or that were recorded but never made it to air. Like there are some additional split episodes that don't even exist outside of maybe they're on a hard drive somewhere at Focus. So one, if you got any of those or you've got the scripts for those or
Anything.
I mean, that would be truly incredible.
The LBC library does have some Adventures in Odyssey stuff in there. I definitely could get my hands on probably some interesting artifacts from days of yore.
Sure, but you're not going to find episodes that never made it to air, Andrew.
No, but if I found No, I guess, no.
I don't know what you're hoping for here, but
No, it would never make it to print.
yeah. But yeah. That's kind of all I've got to say here. It's a fine episode. It's more interesting as a curiosity than it is as an episode. And I look forward to talking about more of these because we do have a couple more split episodes that I think I have copies of. I haven't actually listened to them yet, but I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to do this again in a few weeks.
Nice.
Yeah. Anything you want to plug here, Andrew?
I think there's something. Oh, The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, interesting.
I have not plugged it on the show probably in a long time. I don't know if I have before or not.
Sure.
But season 2 came out a while ago. Season 2 is way better than season 1, but I recently watched it with a friend of the show, Alyssa Brenner, and it was really funny. Nice, biting satire. I won't even say it was biting satire. It's just like a comedy so larger than life about a megachurch pastor turned mob boss, kind of, to a certain extent. But
Sure.
it stars John Goodman as the church pastor, and it's on HBO Max. So
Pop Racer himself?
yes,
The Cyclops from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou himself?
he doesn't go by the Cyclops, does he?
No.
Okay,
No. I mean,
but he does wear an eye patch.
Correct. He's playing because it's an adaptation of the Odyssey.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's an adaptation of Homer's Odyssey, and he plays the Cyclops.
Yeah.
But I forget what his character's name is.
It is actually funny because we've just recently watched part of that movie together, and
I watched the whole of that
Yes,
movie.
yes,
I just
I-
only watched part of it with you.
because I got sick.
Wah, wah.
Anyway, that's my plug. Righteous Gemstones, really funny. 9 episodes, I want to say, half hour each, worth your time. Go for it.
All right, cool. I got nothing to plug, but I just did shout out 2 movies I love, so links
you
to
go.
those in the show notes if you want some more John Goodman in your life.
Amen. Who doesn't?
And with all that being said, we will see you folks next week for episode 441A. What do you think? What do you think, Andrew?
You'll have to stay tuned and find out. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at wadfamchalkpod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. The Telltale Cat was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick. hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.